My name is Wangechi Mutu, and I'm here at Stevenson Gallery in Cape Town, where I'm in an exhibition called Kings County, which is about Africans who live in Brooklyn who are artists. And the work that I have exhibited here is called The End of Eating Everything. And it's a piece that I worked on with the intention of it being my first film that is also an animation. It's a film that I thought up when I wanted to bring a certain kind of feeling about how I make the collages and what the collages are about to life. I wanted to have the time dimension be a part of it. So what I ended up doing was focusing on one particular set of work, which are my tumor series. And my tumors are, when I made them, I was really thinking about a kind of a planet that had erupted into all kinds of problems, and it's sort of blistered and ulcerated and pulsing, and it's alive, but it's also sick. And the tumors had vegetation and blood and women's legs and mechanical bits and pieces, and they were supposed to also look at the same time like a cancer, like this circular malignant cancer. And the metaphor is that there's something about the way we exist today in our world that is very much like being cancerous, meaning that our cells, when you have cancer, actually attack our body, that it's not a bacteria or a virus or some external poison that's entered. It's actually your body attacking itself and metastasizing into sort of this deathly disease. So, you know, you look at the environment and you look at the way we've somehow developed, you know, and what we consider to be civilization is actually ruining this beautiful orb. So I wanted to think about that, and at the same time I wanted to make it not just an abstract shape and not just sort of a pulsating form, but a character, and so, you know, kind of bring it to life by animating it, actually giving it a role to play. It's sort of my way of looking at the earth and just sort of pausing it into sort of this 8-minute image. In this film, I try to show what it must feel like to be the earth, you know. My intention has always been to try to understand the differences between how one person sees things versus another person. We're looking at the same thing, we're looking at the same person, and we have completely different opinions and ideas of what it is that we're seeing. And I think that sensitivity comes from being a bit of an outsider or foreigner for so long. And at the same time, having blended in even when I wasn't so familiar with my surroundings. So leaving Kenya was difficult, but it was also really refreshing. And then, you know, you look around and you see things you don't quite know how to gauge who you are there. But more interestingly is what people start to say about what they see about in you know, what their reactions are to you. And as an African woman, I felt like a lot of the things I was hearing, it made me feel like I'd come from this archaic, tribal, traditional space that had never changed, and that came out of some strange Tarzan film. I didn't believe that this is the way it should be and could be, and I was, well, how do I address that issue without it consuming me? So I sort of had to come to the middle ground, which is dealing with the idea of stereotype and the issues of how even the female body is constantly stereotyped and constantly turned into something that should behave and look and fit into specific things and shapes, and it's so impossible because we're all different as women. And then also the African becomes this other thing that's sort of constantly being made into something that is so simple. And we know Africa is so big and Africa is so complicated and Africa is so dense. So I think about those things, and then I think about, well, I want to make work that interests me. I don't want to spend my time arguing with people who haven't done enough research about my continent and my culture and my country and my history. And that's when I really began to sort of play with this sort of optical pun making, visual trickery, not because I'm trying to trick people, but also because I'm interested in how the eye can trick you and tell you things that are not really what's true. And so as I make things, I'm always really, really interested in how to make it fascinating and difficult for myself to understand. Well, what is this? What is this? This thing that I made last night has now changed this morning, and now I have to figure out what this thing is, and how do you turn that into something that stitches together a story about a people that are trying to live in today's time, to be contemporary, to live with dignity, to live outside of colonization and outside of the trauma that we've been through as a country, as a people.